So hello. My name is Dustina. This is Spiritually Boujee Astrology, and we're going to take a deeper look at the new moon in Gemini. Now, before we do any type of go over or go into the science or anything, just a quick little reminder. I am doing a BOGO special. It is the Gemini new moon. It is Gemini season. For all of my existing clients, there is a BOGO special that you get an automatic coupon towards another reading when you purchase a regular reading at full price. So an hour long with session with me is $50. A 90-minute session with me is $70. You automatically get a coupon towards a future reading for yourself or one that you can gift to another person. And it's so funny because there's some people who are like, oh no, I both readings are for me. Other people can figure it out. But a lot of you actually have been like very giving and be like, you know what? I am going to book my session because I'm going to book my session with you regardless. But I also know somebody else that needs a reading. So you guys have been really gracious and you've been gifting those out. And that again, that BOGO special is for my existing clients. Now, why do I keep saying that? Because if you are a new client and you come to me, you're coming to me for your first reading, your first session, your first time, you don't pay full price. You actually get a discounted rate. So an hour-long one-on-one session with me would be $35. A natal chart reading with me is $35. And then if you actually want to do a longer session where we talk about more things that are going on, so like a 90-minute session, that's $50. You're getting a discounted rate automatically. So I like to do that with new people so that way you have a little bit more confidence before you start booking regular sessions with me. And it's not something that's going to break the bank. I like to be affordable too for a lot of my people. So that tends to help, especially when people are coming to me for a lot of guidance, depending on what's going on in your lives. So there's that. And I needed to go over that real quick. It's so funny as we've gotten closer to this new moon in Gemini and the things that have been coming to light, the things that have been getting revealed. And I said there would be revelations this week. For some of us, we needed to be seen in a new way. We needed to have something come to light. Look at what I have done. Look at what I have accomplished. Look at where I'm working. Look at what I'm doing. Look at how much I have changed and transformed. Look at me taking my power back. Look at how much I am getting something lined out and I am healing and I am moving forward in this new direction. See me differently. A lot of that had to do with the Venus cazimi. This new moon is in a conjunction to Venus. So we are still dealing with the see me differently vibe. However, this new moon is also in a square to Saturn. And that square to Saturn has Saturn slowly starting to station, slowly becoming immobile. By the end of the month, Saturn will no longer be direct. So there is also this emphasis in the energy that as you are seeing some people, you also immediately start to pump the brakes. Like, oh, is that what you're going to do? Is that how you feel? Is that the way you're going to take this forward? Is that how you're going to act in public? It's Gemini season. Some of y'all been acting an ass. I'm a Gemini stellium, so everybody like what you're feeling right now with like how noisy the frequency is and all that. This is my normal. So I've been fine, but I have found it hilarious listening to other people and talking to other people since Gemini season has started and the way they have been reacting. The more and more things go into Gemini, I'm like, yeah, that vibration thing. I said a vibration change was coming. I literally meant vibration. I literally meant the frequency. I literally meant the noise. Some of y'all can't keep your mouth shut. And some of the things that you are letting come out, people are learning about you for the first time and they're pumping the brakes. Some of you have been the Saturnian ones. And based off of what has been revealed, what has come to light, what is coming to light in this new moon, you are pumping the brakes, going, I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if I can help with that. I don't know that I can support that. I don't know that we're on the same page. I don't know that I feel the same way that you do. For some of you, that has to do with the knowledge at hand. For some of you, that is having to do with the politicalness. Some of you, it's having to do with financial situations. Some of it has to do with beliefs. Some of it has to do with wanting to make some type of physical change or transformation. I don't know that I'm on board, but you do you. And some of you can say that very nicely. I'm not with it, but you do you. Others of you, you can't say it nicely. You're seeing somebody else revealing more and more about themselves. You're seeing this new side of something. You're seeing these new things come to the surface, and it's just sticking in your crawl. And it's just like, yeah, I don't want anything to do with that. That's the way you're going to act. That's the way you're going to be. That's the way you're going to do things. That's the way things are going to happen right now. I don't know that I'm with that. And you will start to feel this level of withdrawal. I want people to be very aware of this energy right now, because when it comes to this 16-degree mark of Gemini, which that's where this new moon is happening, that's how the moon Venus conjunction is happening. Whenever I was meditating on this, I got backwards timelines that are also feeding into this, and forward timelines that are also going to be dealing with something from whatever is going on right now. So let's talk about the past ones first. I've already brought up one of these before. I think I did this in the month ahead forecast. And I talked about the Venus cazimi happening at nearly the same place as to where it occurred back in 2020. During that last Venus cazimi, where Venus was retrograde. And they happened at nearly the same degree point. This week they had their cazimi at 14 degrees. I'm pretty sure it was like 13 degrees a couple of years ago. But there was something about it that felt very, very similar, because I looked for what was going on in Pisces, because this Venus cazimi and this new moon and everything else that's been squaring Saturn, I looked for the similarities from before. And before, there were squares from Mars in Pisces and Neptune in Pisces. So there was a desire, a flooding desire of things that started to come together, of things that were being met that had a level of lie, fallacy, things that were not clear, but we became consumed by something. And for a lot of people, whatever is starting to happen and whatever starts to unfold after this new moon can be very similar to what happened in 2020. Now, I say similar. The reason I say similar and not exactly the same is because now we're having a square from Saturn, where before it was just, this is my desire and I will have, I want, I will create, I will do, I must achieve. Mars. That determination was different. Now feels more timely. Responsibilities have adjusted. We're in a very long timeline of responsibilities needing to change. That's the entirety of Saturn going through Pisces. But now we're getting more expression as to why those changes are necessary. And the immediate response to needed change can be hesitant. I don't know that I'm ready. I don't know that I'm on board with this. I don't know that I can see this way. But for other people, it won't be hesitancy. It will be permission. And I've said this before. I think I said this part on the weekly episode, that Saturn will be giving grace and permission. It is time. You do you, boo, whatever you need. I'm not on the ride, but I see what you need. I see how you can do better. I see how you can do well. Another previous timeline that came through with this 16-degree mark of Gemini happened during the Mars retrograde. Mars went over 16 degree 3 times. So I'm going to give you a very long timeline. I'm not going to give you a bunch of dates. I'm just going to say, think of what was going on between September of 2022, because that would have been the first one, and March of 2023, because that would have been the third one. The second one happened December 7th. And that was a full moon in Gemini. So what was going on when Mars was in Gemini? September of 2022 to March of 2023. That's not the entirety of the timeline. I'm going with whenever Mars would have been going over the 16-degree mark. So that's why I said September. Mars actually entered in August, but that part I'm not getting into. What was going on in 2022, where did you have tests? Because that Mars retrograde, it was a hellacious test. Some of us passed, some of us failed. There were tests in that energy. Mars went through several squares with Neptune, not at the 16-degree mark, but there was a full moon at that 16-degree mark in that Mars retrograde. So there was energies between both Saturn and Mars, because Saturn was trining Mars when all that happened, of timely things where our mindset needed to change, where the decisions we were making were forcing a level of change. It was forcing a level of disruption because it was Mars. Now we have this new moon cementing how we progress from here. And for some people, that progression and whatever gets revealed, again, we will withdraw our support. I can't do this with you anymore. I can't help you with this anymore. And it will require, however somebody moves forward, whatever starts to happen from here, to go through either a final round of purging between now and eclipse season, and or, big and or here, or getting closer to energy that is going to be towards minimalizing the purge and finding peace and finding hope and finding more security in the way that we feel in our own skin, the way that we are in tune with this energy. Now, why do I say that way? Because there will be other things that highlight this 16-degree mark, one before eclipse season and one afterwards. And a lot of whatever we start to deal with from this point forward will also have a bigger impact to the start of the Mars retrograde. So when I was saying in my meditation, I had some backward states of when some people will have some things from before that are coming back around, like the next round, the next level, that has led to this revealing type of energy, this revolution type of energy, this finding type of energy that we're in. Some of us are coming from something that was very slow steps in the making to now. Some of us, of whatever is being revealed, whatever is being decided, whatever we are connecting with, whatever we are showing off, whoever is seeing us, wherever we are losing support, especially if you are losing support or withdrawing support in this time frame, it will lead to tests later. Now, when later? The first date is August 13th through 15th. And that is because at 16 degrees of Gemini, where we're having this new moon, where we're cementing something right now, we will have the Mars-Jupiter square, and it too will be in a square to Saturn. Mars-Jupiter conjunction, said the wrong word, and it too will be in a square to Saturn. So whatever is coming to light, whatever is debuting, that Saturnian test energy, it is very much important. Later on, we will have a Mars-Jupiter conjunction at this 16-degree mark. December 6th, 7th, and 8th. 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. We will also have something coming back up from this time frame. For some people, that will be positive. And again, we were moving towards something that is meant to bring us hope, that is meant to bring us peace, that is meant to bring us balance, that is meant to bring us more into alignment. For other people, it will be a test, and it will be disruption, and it will be chaotic. And why do I say that? Because Mars is the god of war. Yes, he is our ambition, and he is our desire, and he is our drive. He is the natural builder. He has the tenacity to create so much and so many things. But beyond that, we're not at war all the time. So sometimes Mars's energy can be chaotic, and it can be disruptive. We are making the decision. We are showcasing something. We are being seen in a new light. And for some people, that is going to be met well. And you're going to have, again, the permission. You're going to have the cheerleading aspect with the square from Saturn, that your elders are approving of the work that you have done. They're appreciative of how you are moving forward, that how you are growing, how you are flourishing, and where you're going to go from here. Baby, I don't understand it, but I am so proud of you. Do your thing. Keep going. And wherever you're going next from this moment is going to take you onto another path. But that path will not have some element of support. Grandpa can't go to college with you. Going into business on your own means you don't have the safety net of working for a corporation. We feel that we need to do something different. And for many of us, that immediate energy of what we want to feel, of what we feel coming through, of where things are going next, in some ways, we will see debuts and revelations this week. I put a TikTok out there of the garden that I built. There's a small little mundane example of something I've been building for a while. That's just me using the energy to my best advantage, just to be clear about that. But on the other side of that, is that I know whatever I do else moving forward, it's going to be my responsibility. Like, I originally built my garden for my mom. My mom is disabled. And the only time I can get her to go outside is if she has something to do or we're getting in the car. So, but I also know her responsibility and her aid in that regard, it's not going to continue. She's not going to be able to go out there and water vegetables and prune things. She wasn't able to help me build it. She could watch, but she couldn't be a part of it. Very mundane example. Whatever starts to progress from here, another person can't be a part of, won't be a part of, forbids to be a part of, incapable of being a part of. It does not have to be negative. However, some people are no longer incapable. Some people are incapable of being a part of something. I said that backwards. I did double negative. I apologize. Are incapable because they're seeing a different side of you. I don't like how they're dressing. I don't like how they're talking. I don't like how they're acting. I don't like this person's behavior. I don't like the way that they're doing things. I don't like it. Why don't you like it? Because it bothers me. Doesn't feel right. It's not something that I can support. And that too will come through the energy. I don't like the way that we work together. I think I should work with a different agent. I think I should work with a different, cosmetic person. It's the Venus energy. Somebody that is more in alignment with where I'm going, with what I want. And that revelation will lead to separation. It's always a mixed bag of energy. You guys, you see like the little bits of how something is coming together, but then there's the other elements of what's starting to pull away and what's starting to turn and what's starting to change. And that's the things I try to bring into for everybody. This is not necessarily a turning point new moon. It is a showcasing new moon. There are things that need to be seen in a new way, people that need to be seen in a new way. There is something that is meant to come to light. And even what's coming to light won't have a full element of connection and control or a full vibrational outlook until we get into deeper parts of the summer, specifically July and August. You're showcasing something right now, but the results of something will be bigger later. The full element of what we've committed to will be bigger later. This new moon does have a big picture element to it. And again, it's a part of the fast moving energy forwards and backwards from here. And some people might not even realize how important the energy of this week is to them until we get to later. until we get to the test, until we get to the disruption, until we get to the other side. But there are elements of what is being understood, revealed, focused on, debuted this week, not just around this new moon, not just this new moon, but with the other things that are going on that will lead to bigger things. And again, for a lot of people, whatever is coming through is going to be a major impact between now and eclipse season. Now, why do I keep saying that? The South Node is in Libra. Venus is the ruler of Libra. The next eclipse season will not include an eclipse in Aries. Got to remind everybody of that. That next eclipse season will have an out of sign eclipse in Pisces, shaking up future energies to prepare us for future things are going to occur. But between now and the Libra eclipse, the next new moon eclipse, we're seeing a whole different side of the Venusian, because this new moon also includes that Venus cazimi. Last year, the energy, once we got into the very start of the nodes changing signs and that same week Venus turned retrograde, I said hyperactive purge. Y'all thought I was joking. Was not joking then. There's a reason I keep telling so many people, like, we've been in a purge energy since last summer, because we have been. And in some elements, we're getting to this cazimi and we're seeing like the final aspect of another person's underside or underbelly and their way that they're expressing certain things. And it just confirms even more that this is something that we need to purge. We cannot support any longer. We cannot connect with any longer. We can't be a part of any longer. But that revelation will let them progress in a whole new way. It will let you progress in a whole new way. That's okay. You don't have to support me. I can do what I need to do on my own. I don't need you for that. So we think. For some people, you're right. Other people, not so much. Be aware of the energy of this week. It is bigger than just the new moon in Gemini. It is. But the one thing that we can account for whenever it comes to Gemini season is a lot of people are starting to find not only their opinion, but voicing their opinion and expressing their opinion and not keeping things to themselves. And my Gemini stellium is laughing hysterically. I'm so serious whenever it comes to how opinionated people are all of a sudden about anything and everything. And the more you hear those opinions, the more you start to see this next round of separation and divide. For some people, that separation is timely, it is necessary, it is because certain things are no longer your responsibility. That will be a big part of the energy following this new moon, especially as we get into the weekend. So I'm talking about fast moving things. I'm not talking about things that are going to take weeks to unfold. I'm talking about the next 2 weeks. For some people, it could go as far out as the next 6 weeks, because our next next two full moons will be in Capricorn following this new moon. Please note, I said there are 2 Capricorn full moons. There are things that we are meant to see in this moment that triggers mental, intellectual, knowledgeable changes that will need to be nurtured and understood as we progress through the rest of this month and into July. We are a part of the very fast moving energy when it comes to this Gemini new moon. And I'd rather just get straight to the point than do a whole bunch of factual things about what Gemini represents. Everybody knows it represents big mouths. If that wasn't true, then you wouldn't listen to me. Anyways, moving along. The way that I read these for everybody is that I don't care if your ascendant is located at 2 degrees or 22 degrees of a zodiac sign. The entire zodiac sign is your first house where your ascendant is. So everything is read from a whole house system. Putting this over here. Let's get into the charts. Let's get into Aries and Aries risings. All right, babies, my loves. This is a new moon in your 3rd house. Travel, communication, marketing, branding. There's something in our mindset that we are changing. There's something in our opinion that is changing. There can be a lot of bright ideas as to how you connect to other people differently. Why do I say that? Because Venus rules your 2nd house of money and your 7th house of relationships and partnerships and commitments. What can finally come through in this timeline is the realization as to how you need to change something in your communication. Some of you might be making some very travel-like choices based off of a partner, based off of a relationship. We need to work through whatever is necessary to leave the past behind because we are squaring Saturn in that 12th house of the unknown, the unseen, and endings. Some of you, the decision and the communication at hand is going to lead to new chapters and new things that are going to unfold for you. For a lot of you, it can also still mean the financial aspects because, again, Venus does rule that 2nd house of money. But the decision that you're going to be making in and around this new moon is going to later impact your career and your home life and your family. And I'm saying that over the course of the next 6 weeks. 6 weeks. Whether you like it or not, there's something about this new moon that directly impacts how you are going to be handling things over the course of the next 6 weeks. They will directly impact those future dates even further. But we got to make the decisions now. We have to reveal those things now. We have to see what is coming to light, see the possibilities, see those little things before we can make those decisions over the course of the next few weeks, because there will be decisions that need to be made. We are trying to overcome a fear. We are trying to overcome the past. And the thing that you can be sure about whenever it comes to Gemini transits is your words are far more powerful, given that this is your 3rd house of communication. I do feel like many of you will be making the decision in this week, not just the new moon. So the Venus Cazimi, the squares with Saturn when they go exact this weekend, and when Mars leaves Aries, and that happens this weekend also. It will literally take a pivot and a turn for many of you as to how you're going to be dealing with things, how you're going to be handling your money, how you're going to be handling things in your career, how you're going to be adjusting your success by adjusting something in this moment, whether that means taking on a different job and it's going to require more travel, or whether that is looking at changing something in your marketing strategy, knowing that if you do this different type of marketing, if you do this thing with a potential partner, if you do this thing with a friend or anything along these lines, like, it can be a huge pivot for both you and that other person based off of the energy at hand. So let's talk about this new thing. We have the Sun card. Of course, we've got a new moon conjunct Venus. We have the Ace of Cups, very Venusian energy right here. We also have this Empress, and we have this Knight of Wands. These two actually came out together, so I'm holding them up together like this. So when it comes to your path and your passion, Knight of Wands, you see this way of being able to solidify something in partnership, find more peace in partnership, doing this thing that will give more grace and more hope by communicating this difference, by seeing the next steps as to how you are going forward, by revising the plan. There is an adjustment And given that whenever this new moon is happening, Mars is going over like Mercury's point of shadow from that from that Mercury retrograde, you can be finally picking up on certain things that goes back to eclipse season and taking them forward, making the decisions to take those forward. I wouldn't say that to everybody. I'm saying that specifically to Aries risings because so much of the energy is still carrying from that huge retrograde eclipse vibration that got set back in April. But whatever decisions are coming to light, whatever adjustments you are making to leave behind the past, leave behind fear, leave behind those old ways of doing things and allowing new ways to heal, you are very aware of what you are leaving behind. 5 of Coins, 7 of Wands. And you are very determined to get your expression, your idea, your desires to be heard in a new way, your passions to be heard and seen in a new way. And what will lead from there will be even more the ideas of spending money to make money for some of you, but for others, finding new ways to make money. So there's an energetic transition that's going to impact the next 6 weeks that speaks to career, public image, and finances very, very hard following whatever is getting revealed in this new moon. And it will lead to certain decisions. 2 of Coins. This actually came through before the 5 of Coins. So it will lead to certain decisions. It will make you make new decisions because all of your energy can't go just in one direction. We have to find the balance. You're going to be doing juggling. You're going to be having to bridge away from one thing to make another thing happen. You're going to have to repurpose and revise the way that you have been doing one thing so this other thing can happen. You're going to have sudden changes in regards to like your daily routine because you're going to have to do additional levels of travel. Some of you have already been traveling. You got the bug as soon as like Gemini season started, but some of you, it's been unexpected travel has brought you out more and more and more. And the thing is like what will finally happen after this new moon is like, okay, I have to do other things now. I can't continue to let the past and those old ways of thinking, that old thing happening, I can't let that continue to anchor me into something I don't want to be anchored in. There's a decision for so many of you that is meant to help you overcome fear, help you overcome the past, help you continue to be seen in a different light. And the decision in the energy around this new moon, not directly on the new moon, just to be clear, around this new moon, the week of this new moon, will have a very big impact in regards to how you see things going in your career over the next 6 weeks. There will be an adjustment there. Okay. Let's get back to the chart. We're going to get into Taurus and Taurus risings. My loves, a new moon in your second house of money, your assets, your stuff. Some of you are going to be looking at new job opportunities, new things in your career, getting over a past situation, and new ways of making money. Venus is your chart ruler. New ways of making money, something that speaks to the level of independence that you truly have wished to have, and now are getting a different understanding as to what that was going to look like. The opportunities of the past are no longer things that we're going to dwell on. We are going to be making the decision to allow something new to set in. And there is something about the decision and that mental state. We have to be in tune mentally because our drive is going to amp up once we are in tune with the decisions that we are making. There's something very pursuant moving forward. And the way people see you is going to directly change after you get real set into this vibration. The next 6 weeks are going to be very important for you with the things that start to come together, the things that start to come to light, the connections that you are making. Your old way of connecting with people will not be the same in time. You'll understand that there is a new way of connecting with people, that you're not in the same field that you used to be. You're not in the same level of control that you used to be, but you are okay with that because Venus just had a rebirth. You are okay with going in this new direction. You are okay with not working in that same company, with not working in that same field. You are okay with leaving the past behind and moving into a whole different direction. You've been preparing for it, mentally preparing for it, emotionally preparing for it, physically preparing for it. Now, that preparation is going to lead to, again, more focus, more drive, and more determination over the next 6 weeks. Okay. So again, we're leaving some things behind. We got this Five of Cups energy, this Knight of Swords, this Queen of Swords. We are mentally in tune with the decision that we are making. We are mentally in tune that we know we need to move past something, that we need to break away from something, that we need to go in this new direction. Many of you have made this decision of your own cognizance that we need to make this new direction happen. That Knight of Swords and Queen of Swords, there's no emotion to the decisions at hand. There's no emotions to the things that are starting to come together for you. In a lot of ways, it feels like you've manifested them. It feels like alchemy. We have the Magician. We have the Two of Cups. It's going to, come on, get in there. We have the Magician and we have the Two of Cups. The Two of Cups is a lover's card. Some of you, whatever is starting to get revealed is going to bring some person back into your life. It's going to allow for different things to come together. For some of you, what is starting to come together, again, is going to change the way that you connect with certain people, that you connect with certain friends. It's going to allow for something else to adjust. For some of you, whatever gets happening in this new moon is meant to bring something to light. It is meant to bring something out of the shadows. It is meant to make you aware that however you progress from here, you are doing it on your own and you're not going to have the support. You're not going to have the same connections. You're not going to have the same clientele that you had before, but you are okay with that. You are willing to do the work. Hard work and bright ideas are exactly what you have been mentally preparing for. And whenever it comes to that level of preparation, it will lead to physical adjustments and physical changes and determination changes over the weeks that follow. This Four of Swords is very much being prepared for the worst, planning for the worst, but usually getting the best. Getting something more positive than what we planned for. It's a good energy whenever it comes to the big picture of things for you. It is a good energy in regards to your chart ruler going through this rebirthing energy. And a lot of what is coming to light, a lot of this rebirthing energy, a lot of the direction, a lot of the revelation, it was your choice to make them. It was your choices that brought this together. It is your choices that has made this happen. It has been your connections that has made this all come together and all work. So you are meant to do whatever is happening next because you made the decisions and the choices to get to this point. Right before this new moon, Mercury was in Taurus. There was mutual reception building into this new moon. You made the decisions, whether you like to admit it or not. You have made the decisions that have led to where we're going next. I hope you're ready for that. All right. Okay. Now, let's get to Geminis and Gemini risings. This is a new moon in your first house. This is a lot of energy tied to you. I do still keep saying be prepared for whatever is happening is going to be impacting the next 6 weeks. and the way that you are connecting in career, the way that you are seeing your goals for the future, the way that you are seeing yourself in regards to a public image and everything in that regard, the way that you have desired to be seen, they are meant to change. Your levels of responsibility will not remain the same. The people that have been responsible over you will not remain the same. I meant it when I said this in the week ahead forecast. I'm meaning it now for a lot of Gemini risings. This is a very bittersweet new moon because you did just go through all of those transits in your 12th house of the unknown, the unseen, and endings. You have finally alleviated the energy tied to Jupiter in your 12th house that has required you to let go of so many things so you can heal. But now that we're getting into the start of these Gemini transits, we can also get into the start of you rebuilding your confidence and you rebuilding the things around you and you finally allowing yourself to be seen in a different way. And your way of being seen is not going to be supported by everybody because, again, this is a new moon squaring that Saturn. Venus and the Sun, as this weekend will continue, will square that Saturn. And many of you are making the choices to leave things behind that have done too much to compromise your mental health and your peace. It is a very bittersweet new moon. And over the lunar month ahead, that's a month, but I still keep saying the 6 weeks thing. I'm still saying 6 weeks because I feel like there's a big portion of this that's going to later impact those full moons in Capricorn, that it is going to allow for a certain amount of balance to come through. But I am very serious about the bittersweet. So let's talk about these bad cards before we get into the good cards, because you've got like 3 of them. All right, we got this 5 of Cups energy. We have the 3 of Swords and we have the Tower card. The 5 of Cups, like we're crying over the missed potential. We are missing the possibilities of what can still be picked up and carried through because we're very much stuck on a loss. We're stuck on the past. We're stuck on the heartbreak. We're stuck on something that we need to we don't need to rehash anymore. We need to recover from. We need to eliminate. The Tower moments have happened. And now we need to deal with the aftermath. For some of you, that Tower moment, it plays with that 3 of Swords. It was a betrayal. And we're still dwelling on a betrayal. We can't let it go. We're not taking into account that this can impact us in the long run and allow for certain ambitions to change because we're still stuck in the past. Jupiter going through your 12th was meant to enforce some level of healing. But for other people, you discovered that other people, your relationships, your partners, Jupiter rules your 7th house of relationships, that certain people that you have trusted and depended upon, you were never able to trust because they have betrayed you while Jupiter was going through your 12th. You were meant to go through that level of betrayal. You were meant to have those past energies trigger. You were meant to understand something now that you could not understand before. And that's why all the old memories came back up. That's why the situation that felt nearly the same, but it was a whole different person, came back through again. We were getting tested in the energy to prepare us for wherever we're going to have expansion. Now, Wheel of Fortune, Knight of Wands. Over the next 6 weeks, whatever starts to adjust for you in regards to partnership, in regards to commitment, in regards to your career and the ways that you make money, whatever starts to adjust for you in regards to your debts, because for a lot of people, it is going to have some unfinished business tied to debts. Whatever starts to adjust for us in this energy, it's meant to rebuild your confidence. It's meant to light a fire under your ass. It's meant to force you to finally break away from those things that are no longer serving you, so this new version of you can come through. Some of you, there will be an immediate showcasing, a new version of you coming through because of the Sun-Venus conjunction. You will have recognition. You will have something that shows respect and shows esteem and brings you, that harmony and that balance and things along these lines. Some of you will have something immediately good in the new moon. But the long-term energy means like you debut something, but you don't see the instant results. You don't see the immediate results. You don't see the immediate help. You don't see the immediate aid. Because the decision, Two of Coins, the decision needs time to gestate. It needs time to manifest. It needs time to work with you, for you, around you. And for some of you, that means a full determination change that's going to happen over the course of the next 6 weeks. For others of you, it is going to put you into a bad position because whatever new starts to come through might not even be your decision. That square from Saturn can be somebody else's decision, and it impacts you as an individual. You don't work here anymore. You don't live here anymore. You've been disowned. You're not my kid anymore. This isn't your responsibility anymore. I don't need you here anymore. And that by itself will enforce the adjustment and the change that is necessary for you to, again, regain your confidence. Some of you struggle with making these decisions. I've made so many decisions. I've made so many changes. I don't want to make another bad one. So the decision will get made for you. And I need you to be prepared for that. Some of you, you are not going to have the full decision. And many of you, whatever is starting to come through, we've had things that have led us to this point. The writing has been on the wall. But in other ways, the decision will be yours too. And not everybody's going to be prepared for the decisions that they need to make, but you do need to make them. Go through the entire week to understand the elements of this new moon. Okay. Moving this along. We're going to get to Cancers and Cancer risings. This is not a fun new moon for you guys either. Now, why do I say that? Because Venus rules your 11th house of friends and network and colleagues. But Venus also rules that 4th house of home life, and family, where the South Node is. Some of you have had something get realized in this new moon. It is the realization that there can be a loss tied to family. It is the realization that we need to cut off certain people that we trust. We need to leave certain friends behind. By allowing for loss, by allowing for that release, it will also change the way that you commit to certain people and commit to certain responsibilities over the course of the next 6 weeks. You need to purge something. You need to release something. You need to let something go or let someone go following this new moon. Now, some of you, that's going to sound weird. Why would I want to make that decision? I don't want to let anybody go. Some of you, the reason that is going to be necessary is because there's betrayal going on and you can't see it yet. You haven't become fully aware of it yet. And for some people, it's not going to just happen in this new moon. It's going to be, again, a part of the big 6-week time frame that I'm talking about, of where we're expanding upon something, of where something is going to continue, how something is going to continue. You can also learn things tied to stalkers. You can also learn about people that have not been honest whenever it comes to a 12th house new moon. It can make you reclusive. It can be exhausting. It can make you want to withdraw in a lot of ways. I don't want to connect with these people the same way. I don't want these kinds of friends to continue in the same way. I don't want this to be XYZ 1, 2, 3. Some of you might feel like you're getting rejected by others, and it's not going to make any sense. I've done all the right things. I've done everything to make this work. I've done everything to make this happen. Why don't you want to continue? Why don't you want to connect? Why don't you care? It's because it's not their responsibility anymore. And you will see that adjustment in people's ideas of responsibility moving forward. They're not going to look at faith the same way. They are not going to look at the past the same way. They're not going to look at what is going on in the same way. And for many of you, it's going to leave you overwhelmed, but that overwhelm will not last forever. In fact, I've said this before, and even the cards are saying this to you now, my loves. This is a very fast moving month. It's a very fast moving energy. And whatever is starting to happen behind the scenes, behind your back, whatever needs to be released or let go of, whatever you are starting to see very, very clearly, wherever you need to pull someone out of an unknown situation, because that 12th house of the unknown might not be your unknown, it might be somebody else's unknown. Again, how you're helping a friend heal, how you're helping a family member heal, means by taking that responsibility over the next 6 weeks, not just during the new moon, is going to put more responsibility onto you, more focus onto you, whether you like it or not. So I need you guys to be very, very prepared that there is going to be an adjustment. Some of you, again, the immediate effects around this new moon, it can be exhausting. Hermit card. It is in the 12th house. The more we get into the transits of the 12th house, it can be triggering the past. It can be triggering fears. It can be triggering loss. It can be triggering so many different things that we need to understand so we can finally process them, so we can finally overcome them, so we can finally move through a situation. I just dropped that card. Of course I dropped a card. Hold on. Hold on. So we have this King of Swords energy. We have this 10 of Wands energy with this Hermit card. We need to understand. We need to know. The words need to come out. The opinions need to come out. The decisions need to come out. And for some of you, it is going to feel like betrayal. But once this overwhelm, 10 of Wands, is understood and surpassed and overcome, we're able to work through all of that frustration, all of that overwhelm, all of those things that we start to juggle, all of that energy that has made us feel stuck for so long. The things that have kept us feeling stuck, the people that have kept us feeling stuck, that once we make the decision or the decision gets made for us to move into this new light, move into this new healing direction, move into this place that's going to allow for us to finally feel peace in something. With this World card, again, everything starts to move very, very quickly with the 8 of Wands. This is a bittersweet new moon for a lot of people because whatever is coming to light is not going to be supported all the way around. For you, this can have a lot to do with institutions. This can have a lot to do with the courts. This can have a lot to do with education systems. This can have a lot to do with medical institutions. This can have a lot to do with healing. This can have to do with blindsiding. This can have to do with your family. But this new moon is meant to trigger an understanding as to what you are going to have to focus on a lot over the next 6 weeks. But beyond that, that is going to put a whole different level of pressure and responsibility on you by the end of the year. Take note of what's going on in this new moon. Some of you will do well with that new responsibility that comes through later. Others, it's going to be distracting. It's going to be disruptive. It's going to be chaotic, and it's going to impact your home life. You need to be prepared for the good, the bad, and the ugly all the way around. But where you have been feeling where you can't move anymore, where you have been stuck, we're going to find ways to get unstuck in this new moon. And that's the sweetness tied to how we overcome the bitterness. If you're feeling exhausted and you're feeling a moment where you just want to rest, take that rest. Do what you need to take care of you. If you're having things from the past that are being triggered, these old wounds, these old feelings, and all of this emotional energy, there's something that you need to process, because again, it's the 12th house. But by processing those emotions, you're going to finally allow for a different level of healing to emerge from it. Journal what is going on this week. Journal the way that you feel this week. And then when we get to the dates that are going to happen later this year, the August, mid-August dates, and those early December dates that I already said, when we get to those dates later this year, we'll see how this timeline corresponds to those timelines. Because there will be a connection. There will be another round. There will be more to it than just what's being triggered right now. Okay. Okay. Moving this along. We're going to get to Leos and Leo risings. How many people have been sliding into y'all's DMs over the last few weeks? I am curious. I'm so curious. Why? Why do I keep saying that? One of the things I have been warning you guys about is that once we get into these Gemini transits, it's going to be very, very easy for friends to be confused as lovers. Now, for some of you, that means you are looking at a potential friend interest and be like, I wonder if we would make a good, partner, if we would do good in relationship. I wonder if we could date. I wonder if we could give it a shot. If you feel really compelled to do that, I mean, you can try, but my honest suggestion would be is don't do that. I really mean that. For any Leo risings over the course of the next year, do not try to rush into any kind of relationship, because it is so easy right now to confuse friends for lovers. But some of you, it is your friendship connections that have been trying to come through. These new little connections of people like, hey, you want to hang out? Hey, you want to do something? And you're feeling good about yourself, rebuilding your confidence, trying to do these things that are just vibing and being happy. And they are picking up on your vibration change, and they're wanting more. They're wanting to pursue it. They're wanting something to be bigger than what it actually needs to be. A lot of Leo risings, you're starting to see that first wave of what I was talking about before. You can really start to confuse friends for lovers. Lovers and friendships, not a good year for you guys until Jupiter leaves that 11th house. Now, Jupiter rules your 5th house of children, lovers, but it also rules that 8th house. The 5th house and the 8th house are very sexual houses. I do anticipate a lot of Leo risings are going to end up having sexual relationships with people that should never have been more than a friend. If it happens, it is what it is. You got grabbed by the energy, but I'm warning you, that's a part of the energy. However, not everybody's dealing with that. Not everybody's in a sexual energy. And let's be clear about that. Some of you, though, are having things that are going on in your friend groups. You're having things that are going on with your clients, your colleagues, your coworkers, where you're really having to stand your ground and let people know that they can't do certain things the same way. Some of you are looking at trying to do new things with your friends, in the people that you surround yourself with, and it's being met with hesitancy. It's not being pursued or supported the way that we desire, the way that we anticipated. We're getting somebody's, influence in there going, I don't necessarily know if I agree with this. Some of you are the ones saying, I don't necessarily know if I agree with this. If you're being the Saturnian one. However, I don't feel like a lot of you are, because the sun is your chart ruler. Unless the Saturn is your time lord, but that's a different conversation. I feel like a lot of you are starting to look at a whole new presence and a whole new way of connecting with people. And as you're getting more confident and more comfortable with those connections, we're running into the people that can't leave well enough alone. We're running into the people that decide that can't let go of their emotions and the way they're getting grabbed. And it is creating a lot of frustration and a lot of confusion. Oh, it doesn't have to be frustrating. A lot of you can let people down in a positive way. But you got to stick to your truth. If you're not feeling it, then don't go for it. If you're not feeling the situation, if you're not connecting with that person the way that they want to be connected with, don't force something that ain't there. Don't sit there and try to convince yourself, like, well, maybe I can make it work. No, you're just creating a bigger heartache and turmoil that's going to happen later. And considering again, there are parts of this energy that directly feed into future dates. If one of y'all think that you're going to suddenly, make something happen where you wouldn't normally make things happen, that's going to lead to some of the craziness where we'll have issues later. Again, August and December. But for the most part, we're enjoying ourselves. Six of Cups energy. We've got things that are going into good vibration. We're feeling really successful. We're celebrating a lot of things. We're finally getting some things lined out. We're getting our passions met with, and we're starting to really regain parts of our personal strength. Some of that is going to be temporary. Let's be clear about that. Page of Wands, Strength card. What I always notice about the Strength card is this is such a Leo card with the sun and the lion in there. Almost a tiger. Yeah, there's no stripes. Sorry. The sun and the lion in here. This Strength card always screams like empowerment, and it has this Leo vibration to it. So much of what is going on right now is going to lead to an empowerment. It's going to lead to opportunities. It's going to lead to new paths and new connections. And as those new paths unfold, it's going to allow for leaving old things behind, old people behind, old situations behind. And that's a good thing. But it's also going to take a lot of you into some uncharted territory. And I need you guys to be prepared for that. As you're leaving certain things behind, Eight of Cups, and pursuing whatever comes through, whatever opportunities are coming through, wherever the energy is starting to take you, because some of you, wherever it's taking you is going to lead to things tied to travel. In other ways, it's going to lead to things tied to where you need to heal and where you need to do a certain amount of work, self-work, big work. It's still going to take you into uncharted territory. That is speaking through the fact that over the course of the next 6 weeks, we're going to have all of the energies going between the full moons in your 6th house of health, but also all of the transits that are later going to go into your 12th house. You can be having something revealed or debuted this week that's going to, again, either take you into uncharted territory, take you into a whole different focus in your work, or take you into a whole different focus of your personal health. We have this Eight of Coins and this King of Wands. Meeting with a doctor, meeting with the guru, going through the tests, going through the labs, going through everything can be shifting your focus. In this immediate energy of the new moon, it might just be like a new friendship or one new thing, one new client. But in the long-term picture of this energy sets a vibration for how we're continuing from here and where we're going to have responsibility adjustments over the course of the next 6 weeks. I keep feeling that. I keep hearing that. There's something about this that is going to directly impact how we maneuver into something over the course of the next 6 weeks. So the last two cards, you guys all have so many wands, so much fire energy, which is good. But the last two cards was that Eight of Coins and that King of Wands. There is a certain amount of work that will need to be accomplished that will follow this energy. For those that are dealing with nothing but work things, this is going to be something that's going to take you into uncharted territory, take you into a whole different field, take you into a new role, take you into new levels, take you into new parts of the management, take you into new positions. That's not going to have to be a bad thing. However, for some of you, now that we've had all these Jupiter transits and the squares with Neptune and all that, what this is going to lead into is the awareness of a different responsibility, of different treatments, of different things that you need to deal with in regards to your health. If you have health things that are starting to come to the surface now, then they're going to be something that is likely going to be a big part of what's going to happen later this year. I gave 2 sets of dates. I'm going to give them again. August, mid-August, between the 13th and the 15th is when that's the most exact. That's the Mars-Jupiter square happening at this 16-degree mark. In December, when Mars turns retrograde in your first house, because that's where the Mars retrograde starts. It starts in Leo. The week of that Mars retrograde starting is whenever the sun is going to hit the opposition to Jupiter at 16 degrees of Gemini. There is something about this new moon, especially for Leo risings and Cancer risings, Leos and Cancers. Like, this is impacting you guys in a whole different way. That's why I'm giving so much more emphasis. Like, this is a very interesting energy of carryover, of unveiling, of path and direction, that it will be something that directly impacts later this year and the start of the Mars retrograde that will be in your first house. And that Mars retrograde starts December 6th. Take note of what is happening this week, of what is happening right now, because it has a bigger play for later. Take note of how you're feeling. Take note of the emotions. Take note of the decision. Take pictures. Do whatever you need to do. And be prepared to come back to these things in August and December, because those will be the next 2 rounds, the next 2 layers, the next 2 parts of whatever is happening in this chapter. Yay. New moon in Gemini. All right. Moving along, keeping this going. I know I'm being intense today because I can feel it. I've got this whole thing going on, like right on top of my Gemini stellium, and boy, howdy, can I feel this new moon. Anyways, moving along for Virgos and Virgo risings. This is a new moon in your 10th house of career, how you see the future, your plans for the future, how things are going to go. So many of you, wherever you're going next in regards to the future, is going to directly impact the family and how your family life is going to go over the course of the next year. Why do I say that? Because your chart ruler, Mercury, also rules Gemini, is in Gemini and has just made a conjunction to Jupiter in that 10th house of career. So what's been important for some of the other signs, I don't say this always to you guys, because with that mercurial aspect, this next year is very important, because wherever you're going next in career is directly connecting to 2 other areas of your chart. Jupiter rules that 7th house of relationships and partnerships and commitments. Jupiter rules that 4th house of home and home life and family. Many of you are going to be having a change in your home life, a change in your commitments, a change in legal matters, a change in something based off of career, based off of the decision of another person. I've said this to you guys for a while, that a lot of the energy as to how it starts impacting you, it ain't your decision. It's somebody else's decision. It's somebody else's drama. It's somebody else's bullshit. It's somebody else's thing. Now the decisions have been had. The decisions have been made. Direction is starting to come through. Opportunity is starting to come through. And it's going to really change the way you see your own personal happiness over the next 6 weeks. I kind of like that for you guys. There's an optimism in that regard. It can change the way that you connect with children and your home life. Again, Jupiter now being in this placement too, it's going to impact those relationships. Some of you are going to have a whole new truth, a whole new way of thinking, a whole new way of being that is going to be showcased and seen by the world. For some of you, you're just making an immediate change in your career, knowing that, okay, wherever we're going next in career means the whole family is moving. The whole family is a part of this energy. The whole family has to make a change. Not everybody's going to like that change. Not everybody's going to agree with that change, but it's necessary. And it is something that many of you have been trying to get into alignment and make happen for quite a while. Okay. So let's talk about, again, Jupiter is now in Gemini. Jupiter rules your 4th house of home, home life, and family. Jupiter rules that 7th house of relationships, partnerships, and legal matters. We have this Lovers card. Connection, commitment, whatever is about to happen in your career, whatever you are starting to have going on in your future with your goals, where you are starting to pivot to now, it is coming together based off of another person, based off of the responsibilities that are being pushed upon you from another person. By following the tradition, by following the rules, by following whatever somebody else has said, you did not get the choice in this matter. So for some of you, whatever that decision is, it's going to feel like a betrayal. 3 of Swords. Sorry, I had a hiccup. It's going to feel like a betrayal. For others, it's going to trigger insecurities and frustration. I don't want to move. Might not be your insecurities. Again, the kids can get upset. I don't want to move. I don't want to go. But sticking to the facts, the figures, and the receipts, sticking to the decisions at hand, sticking to the fact that some of you are not getting this choice that has been required of somebody else. It is a requirement for you to have this job that you want, for you to have this relationship that you want. You have to make this change. So there's no emotion involved. King of Swords, Queen of Swords. We have this Magician card. The next 2 cards that we have are the Strength and the 10 of Coins. Putting all this together. Come on, get clear. There we go. Magician, Strength. All right. Whatever is coming to light, whatever decision has recently been made, whatever is coming into focus, the unexpected things of the recent weeks that are leading to that direction now, that are leading to the decisions now, there is promise and there is hope for you in how this timeline is going to line out. Whatever is happening around this new moon is going to directly impact things that are happening in August and in December. Some of you, that's going to take you into uncharted territory later on, not necessarily right now. You're hoping for the best. You see the opportunity taking you into the best. You see direction taking you into something that feels very, very hopeful and promising. And I don't want to take that away from you. For some of you, it will be. But for others, it's going to be disruptive and it's going to be a headache. It's going to create tension and fights. It's going to cost you money. I feel like that costing of money can be a big portion of what we start to deal with in those later dates of August and December. More August than the December one, just to be clear. Take note of what is going on this week, of the decisions that you are making, of where you are going, of how things are unfolding. If you have been hesitant to do certain things, I don't think that you're going to be allowed to be hesitant anymore after this week. I think you have to stick with the commitments. I think you have to stick with the changes. think you have to make this adjustment. And the hope and the promise with that Magician card, the Lover's card, that 10 of Coins, that Strength card, it is going to be good for you in the long run. Grab this ball, grab this energy, and take it forward. I really do feel like it's going to be very positive for you guys in the long run. It's just doing the work in the meantime. Okay. Okay. Moving this along. We're going to get to Libras and Libra risings. All right, my loves, this is a new moon in your 9th house. Higher education, higher learning, institutions, travel. Venus is your chart ruler, and Venus is a part of this new moon. Some of you are going to be doing new things in your education. You're all at different ages. You're all in different spaces. Some of you are going to be starting to do new things with and around an institution. That can mean new levels of therapy, new levels of going in for treatments. Some of you, it's not your treatments because this is a new moon squaring Saturn, and Saturn is in your 6th house of health. Some of those new treatments can have to do with another person. It can have to do with a loved one. For some of you, you are looking at the opportunity of doing something new on your own and going into a whole different direction in regards to your career. That might not all play out directly in the new moon. It can be something that plays out over the course of the next 6 weeks because we have a 6-week change energy that's following this new moon. And you can have some very unexpected opportunities that come through very quickly that are going to be a part of that change. That is going to be a part of that energy of where you go next. That is going to help you with understanding that all the missed opportunities of before were not necessarily missed opportunities, but more along the lines of getting space and preparation, giving space, preparing you for where you're going next, for how you're going to be doing things next, for how you will be succeeding in something next. There is an adjustment. For some of you, a lot of what is going on in regards to institutions is going to have to do with faith. It's going to have to do with the church being seen in this whole new way. It's going to be so much fun. It's got so much recognition. It's going to allow for past fears and past frustrations to be overcoming and thinking that we're leaving something behind. We're leaving someone behind. But are you really? Are you convincing yourself that you are? Do you think you're really leaving everything behind? You're not. Do you need to leave some things behind? Absolutely. Many of you do. But you can't leave everything behind. There will be a change in your vision. There will be changes in your body. There will be different understandings about your body. Some of this is going to impact the way that you see the future. It is going to be impacting the way that you see your career. It is going to be impacting the way that you connect with people and allow for people to connect with you. There's something about this new moon that directly speaks to impacting the next 6 weeks. You're learning something. You're gaining a different experience. You're gaining different knowledge. You're gaining different hope. And by gaining that experience, it'll allow for a new version of you to come through over the months ahead. And that'll be a good thing for many of you. But for others, enjoy the recognition while you're going to have it. Because that next round of what comes through for you will not be a regaining. It will be a humbling. And not all of you are going to be prepared for that. So let's get into parts of this. We have the 9 of Wands, we have this 5 of Cups, and we have this 3 of Swords. We're going to get into the negative cards real quick. For some of you, whatever you are leaving behind feels like a betrayal, whether it's a betrayal to you or betrayal to another person. There is a betrayal, that 3 of Swords, the things that instigates fear and frustration, that makes us think and dwell on all of these things in the past. There is something we are leaving behind that has created mental anxiety with this 9 of Wands and 5 of Cups. We're still trying to understand all of these missed opportunities, but the missed opportunities, again, were preparation. They were preparing you for where you're going next. And whatever starts to happen next for many of you is going to change the way that you see career. It is going to change your goals, or it is going to be a public display that you are not prepared for. That can be a good thing, and that can be a bad thing. I'm getting mixed signals with you guys because I feel like some of you are moving into this very big potential of alignment, of a new way of doing things by taking on the new experience where you're taking the next chapter of your career into your hands over the next 6 weeks. But others, I do not feel like it's going to be your hands and your chapter. I don't feel like you will all have the benefits or the support that you think you're going to have. I know. Given that we go from this Three of Swords to this Three of Cups, some people that are getting left behind are feeling betrayed. Some people that are being left behind need to be left behind because of the actions that they have done. And really moving forward from here can be very, very celebratory. And I meant that, I'm meaning it still, because this is a rebirthing energy and a rediscovering energy of yourself. With this Three of Cups energy, the Venus Sun conjunction, there is this energy of like big things that are going to start to come together. And many of you, whatever is starting to come together, you are doing on your own. Nine of Cups. You are lucky in the moment. You're gaining experience in the moment. You're getting these things that you desire in the moment. But over time, many of you are going to, again, achieve a new way of being seen. Some of you, that's not going to go well. That takes me to those first cards. But for others, it's going to lift you up. It's going to solidify something for you. It is going to make something very, very clear. Whatever is going on in this new moon impacts the next 6 weeks directly. A shift in responsibilities, a shift within the family, a shift within the home life. But it's also going to impact your career. It's going to impact you publicly. It's also going to play into the start of the Mars retrograde. Mars retrograde will start in your 11th house of friends and networking clients and colleagues. But the majority of the Mars retrograde will not be in Leo. It will be in your 10th house of career and your public image. There are things from this new moon that will directly impact later's Mars retrograde, the stuff for the future, the stuff of where we're going next. The next timeline from this to the next one, the next leap point is going to be going into August. I know that's going beyond the 6 weeks. There's a very specific reason why I'm saying 6 weeks. And that 6 weeks time frame will transition us into something else. This will impact something that will start to come through in August. For some people, that's going to be super mundane. You're making plans to travel, but you actually travel in August. No big deal. But for others, you're having something discovered. You're having something come to light that is going to require a procedure, that's going to require additional effort, that's going to require more oversight, that's going to require something else that you didn't know you'd be responsible for, that you didn't know that you were being taught. And that's going to be a part of the August timeframe. There are layers to whatever is happening in the energy this week. More things will come. Okay. Okay. I know. Moving this along. We're getting to Scorpios and Scorpio risings. My loves, my loves, my loves. Sometimes we are the problem. I don't feel like we're the problem directly. I feel like we're going to have to deal with the problem after whatever happens in this new moon. So yay, congratulations. So let's talk about that 8th house thing. One, that 8th house thing could be hugely financial. Some of you are having a financial opportunity that comes through this week, and we're not seeing all of it clearly for one reason or another. Or the reason that we're taking on this new opportunity is because a prior responsibility is no longer our responsibility, or is about to no longer be our responsibility, depending on the situation at hand. And it is going to allow for something new to begin, and a very big dynamic change as to how you connect with people. Why do I say that? Because Mars, one of your chart rulers, is about to move into that 7th house of relationships and that 7th house of partnerships. And that happens by the end of this week. So there is a very big adjustment that can come through that is either going to lead to a financial adjustment that's going to lead to new commitments and new partnerships and a new way of connecting with people in a positive way. As in, you're going to be able to start making more money or better money or different money. Or, big or, there is going to be a credit type of transition that's going to have a legal matter involved. So like, you're behind on your house payment, and you don't have the filings for it yet. They're about to file them. You need to do credit repair, 8th house things. And you're about to get served with those immediately following this one. For some of you, you're about to be served with divorce papers. And that means it's going to be a big change in your financials because that person is going to want support, child support, alimony, that type of thing. That's more negative. Let's go more positive. Some of you, it's not that at all. It's the fact that another person where you have been responsible for them is finally getting something together. It's finally getting something handled, and they're not about to be your responsibility anymore. And you're about to see a pivotal change in another person around you. And that'll be more positive. But there are things about whatever is being debuted, whatever is coming to light, whatever is being revealed, whatever is happening this week that are, again, going to impact later dates, specifically August and December 5th through 8th, the start of that Mars retrograde. That's going to be either something that directly, heavily impacts your career, or it's going to be based off of the ties to another person. Now, I've said this to you guys for a while. The thing about having heavy 5th house and 8th house energy is this can lead to affairs. Let's not do that. Let's try to stay away from those types of things. If you're married, do the right thing. Don't do stupid things. Let's be clear about that. However, not everybody's having to deal with that. So that we can let that one go. But a lot of what starts to transition after this new moon, after this week, is going to lead to a dynamic change in regards to partnerships and relationships and the way you connect with other people. For many of you, it's going to be legal things. It's going to make you face a devil that you didn't necessarily want to face, but it is what it is. There are new things afoot. So we have this Page of Cups and we have this King of Swords energy. This is a new thing, a new rebirthing. Excuse me, I keep getting the hiccups. Venus rules your 7th house of relationships and partnerships and legal matters, but it also rules that 12th house of the unknown, the unseen, and endings. Some of what you are starting to go into is going to have a betrayal factor later on, even if it doesn't have it now. That's going to be a hard pill to swallow. But there is a new opportunity, new thing coming through, Ace of Swords, that has much bigger inclinations tied to it later. Swords is about air. We have a lot of things in the air signs in this new moon. We have Pluto in Aquarius. We have the South Node in Libra. We have Jupiter. We have Mercury. We have the Sun. We have Venus. And we have the Moon, all in Gemini. Facts, figures, receipts, truth. Whatever opportunities are coming through need to have an element of truth and not so much emotion. Many of us are going into situations to where we are going to be able to break away from old habits, old traditions, old way of dealing with things, old toxic behaviors, old toxic situations with this Devil card. And we're going to be able to pursue something differently. For some people, that pursuance will be sexual. And I keep picking that up at Scorpio. You know, there's always that sexual energy. But when both the sex houses have transits in them, and they do, there can be a sexual energy. But for other people, this is going to have to do with, again, partnerships, legal matters, and financial, specifically child support or alimony. And breaking away from the devil, breaking away from that old situation, breaking away from that old person, breaking away from those old responsibilities will allow for new happiness to be pursued moving forward. We have that coin energy here, that 6 of coin, that 9 of coin. Whatever we start to pursue from here can have mutual benefit between you and another person. It can allow for things to finally unfold the way they need to unfold. But it will also, with that 9 of coins energy, it also allows for whatever needs to be pursued as an individual can be pursued. Some of you, whatever you need to do next cannot revolve around another person. It cannot involve another person. It has to be done in a certain way. And that's that 9 of coins energy. You have to do this part on your own. You have to write this next chapter on your own. You have to do this next thing on your own. Vice versa. With that 6 of coins, though, if you do have to do something tied to another person, then it needs to be one that has mutual understanding, mutual consideration, and mutual respect. Both parties have to come to the table with their energy, with the possibility, with help. It can't just be somebody with their hand out going, gimme, 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 gimme. That shit's got to end. But a lot of what's starting to unfold, it's not just you. It's not just your energy. It's about bigger things moving forward. For a lot of people, that's going to be a good thing. For some people, that's going to be a pain in the ass. And be prepared for the secrets. That's my final thing for the Gemini 8th house. Be prepared to hear other people's secrets, to be the keeper of secrets, to be having to deal with the secrets of other people so deeply. Be prepared for the potential of your secrets to be exposed. And that's going to be something that you'll continue to hear me say in different times of the next year, especially because Jupiter's now in that 8th house. As much as this can be about finances and debts and taxes, there's a lot more of this that speaks to the things that are going on behind the scenes and below the surface that are going to lead to future things, that are going to lead to bigger things. So I do not feel like this is financial for everybody. It can be, potentially, but not for everybody. Okay. Moving us along. Sagittarius and Sagittarius risings. This is the 7th house new moon. Relationships, partnerships, legal matters, commitments. Your chart ruler is now in your 7th house of relationships and partnerships and commitments. Jupiter spent an entire year in Taurus. Venus, that Sun-Venus conjunction that is also happening in this new moon, there's a rebirthing in the way that you connect with people, in the way that you are of service. You have been doing a certain amount of work, whether that has been inner work or physical work or a little bit of both over the course of the last year, that is now starting to impact the way you see under other people, the responsibilities of the past things tied to your family. And those past decisions are going to lead to new opportunities and new ways of connecting with people. There has been a need for that new version of you to come through. This new version of you to be seen. There are certain truths that need to be explained and told, and some of you know exactly what that truth is. Some of you know exactly what you have left behind, who you have left behind. And now that you are able to speak your truth and say whatever you need to say, it is starting to change the way you are connecting with people. It is starting to change the way you connect with Source, with God, with Creator. It is changing the work that you are doing, and it is going to directly impact your financials over the course of the next 6 weeks. And that can be a really good thing for a lot of people. It can be a bad thing for others. So let's be clear about that. But there is a lot about the work and the healing that you have dealt with over the course of the last year with this Tower card and this Devil card. Those secrets within the family, those things from the past, we no longer are tied to them. We're no longer going to be responsible for them. We are no longer going to allow for this toxic behavior to anchor us to something that we don't wish to be anchored to anymore. We have a whole different truth and a whole different understanding of the truth, Page of Swords, Queen of Swords, that is taking us forward. The thing about the Swords energy is, by having that time to process the old wounds, it means now when we start to talk about them, we are coming from a point of clarity and not emotion. The emotions are turned off as we speak our truth, as we have told what has been going on with us and around us. And it is going to allow, again, for whole different connections to be made and pursued from here. And that's a good thing. Putting these in order, sorry. So this 8 of coins, this is a work card, Knight of Cups, 3 of Wands, 3 of Cups. The thing about the 3 of Wands and 3 of Cups is it's very much about the people we surround ourselves with. This is a new moon in your 7th house of relationships and partnerships, connections, commitments, the people you surround yourself with, people that you trust. By doing the work that you have done over the last year while Jupiter was going through Taurus, it is now prepared you for how you are going to connect with people differently over the course of this next year. And by this next year, I mean June to June. There is an adjustment. The vibration change has occurred. Jupiter is now in Gemini. So much of your focus is going to be based off of that other side, those other people, these other connections. And the next 6 weeks are very important because, again, it's going to impact those finances. That Knight of Cups and that eight of Coins energy, we're going to pursue something that allows for a whole different level of work and benefit to come through. We have a certain amount of longevity that is in this energy. We are working towards something. And as we work towards something, we are also alleviating some level of responsibility. For some of us, we are no longer going to have the same level of commitments, responsibility, and moving forward after we work through these next 6 weeks. It'll be something that gives us more chances to earn money, better ways to earn money. That's a good thing. For other people, you're going to be telling another person, I can't take care of this for you anymore. I can't take care of you anymore. For some of you, you are having to pull things out of the family, pull things out of the home to make this commitment happen, to make this connection happen. And it can't continue. In other ways, we're going to commit to another person, that we're not going to let our family control the narrative of our relationship, of our partnership, of how something is going to continue. My focus is you. My focus is this. My focus is where we're going. And that is going to lead in the immediate to, again, costing you money. Because if you're moving out of your parents' house to move in with your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whoever, you're going to have to buy new stuff in the next 6 weeks. In other ways, though, there's going to be certain commitments where family members say they are no longer able to support, no longer able to help, no longer able to do these things. Some of you, you will be the Saturnian one. I can't care for you. For others, it's not that at all. You know where you're at. You will recognize where you're at, but be prepared that whatever decisions are being unfolded this week, over the course of the next 6 weeks is going to have a very big financial impact. And either you are going to find a whole different way of making money in the next 6 weeks, or you're going to find yourself spending a lot of money over the next 6 weeks. But you have a big financial element over the course of the next 6 weeks. And I need y'all to be prepared for it. Okay, moving along. Oh, Lord. Here we go. For Capricorns and Capricorn risings, this is a new moon in your 6th house of health, how you care for yourself, how you care for other people, how you are of service, the work you must do, the healing you must do. Oh, healing. Now, that healing was not just triggered in this new moon. In fact, it was triggered also in that full moon in Sagittarius. But now we are far more prepared and understanding as to what work we need to do to make a big change for ourselves as an individual over the course of the next 6 weeks. You have a lot of work to do, inner work, physical work, mental work. We have a transformation that is starting to come through. For some of you, you have done a physical transformation within the family, in your home, because Mars has been in that fourth house of home, home life, and family. Others have had to get certain things understood and prepared so that way you can finally move past an old wound and an old energy and connect to something or someone differently over the course of this next 6 weeks. You are about to do a lot of big changes following this new moon, following this week's energy. Venus rules your 10th house of career. Venus rules your 5th house of love and luck and romance and joy and happiness and children. Part of what got revealed this week goes around children. Part of what got revealed this week is directly impacting your way of seeing the future, your goals for the future, and for you to have the control you wish to have, for you to have everything come to light the way you're wanting it to come to light. You're going to have to make some very hard decisions in the next 6 weeks that are going to change you on a personal level, change things tied to your ego, change things tied to your person. Because the next 2 full moons that follow this energy, that follow this new moon squaring Saturn, your chart ruler, those next 2 full moons are in your first house. So the squares from Saturn are very important. But whenever it comes to the square with Saturn for you all, this is your chart ruler. The square from Saturn is you making decisions that you can't support someone anymore. You can't do this thing this way anymore. You can't stay stuck in the past. You can't stay stuck in a rut because it's not doing you any favors. Some of you, there's house cleaning involved, things that have impacted your family. You've had a lot of family things that have come through since eclipse season, since March. The Tower is the only card that really truly represents a structure. Mars is in your 4th house of home, home life, and family. Some of what has been revealed this week directly impacted your family. It directly impacted your children. The Sun-Venus conjunction. Children. Considering you also have this Page of Coins energy, and Venus rules your 5th house of children, let's keep talking about that. There's a reason so many things were coming to light. There's a reason certain things have been coming to the forefront of your mind. It is because whatever has been triggered over the last 2 weeks in this new moon and over the next 6 weeks that will follow are going to require an adjustment in you. For you to understand that adjustment in you, you have to do a certain amount of work, whether that is physical work around your home, whether that is emotional work within your family, whether that is heartfelt work towards the things that are coming up from your childhood, towards the things that are going on around your children, or whether that is the understanding and the recognition of how something needs to change for you to have your career go the way you are anticipating it. There's a certain amount of work and adjustments and change you will have to make over the next 6 weeks following this new moon. Okay, let's keep going with those cards. 6 of Swords energy. The thing is, wherever we're going next, whatever is coming to light, Sun card, wherever we're going next, whatever you are leaving behind, whoever you are leaving behind, whatever work you are going to start to heal from with this recognition will take you places that is better for you moving forward than what you are leaving behind. That's literally what the 6 of Swords means. Wherever I go next has got to be better than where I was at, than where I have been. than what I have been stuck with, than whatever I've been dealing with. We have the Six of Coins, and we have the Queen of Wands. By doing the work and leaving something behind, it now allows for a different opportunity of connection moving forward. It's going to allow for something else to heal moving forward. And wherever you are going next, Queen of Wands is going to allow for connection with people that are also going to reciprocate what you are doing, who you are, what you are trying to address. There is something very helpful by having somebody that can balance your energies, by having somebody that can reciprocate certain things. With this Six of Coins, there must be a good amount of give and take. What do you need to heal? Who do you need to release? Who do you no longer support? That can also be a part of this energy. Saturn is squaring this new moon. Saturn is squaring the Sun and Venus. If you want to progress in this way, that's fine. That's your decision. I can't support you. And whatever you separate from, whatever is being adjusted in this mentality, whatever healing work we need to do around these areas of our life, whatever this is, wherever you go next, whatever you achieve next is going to be better for you than what you're leaving behind. A new version of you will be coming through by doing this work, by alleviating certain responsibilities and allowing people to progress and go in their own way, in their own direction. It will allow for a whole new version of you to come through over the next 6 weeks. And that new version of you will have instant recognition. You just got to be prepared for it. Okay. Okay. Move it along. We're going to get into Aquarius and Aquarius rising. There it goes. Okay. Oh, my love. So this is a new moon in your 5th house of love and luck and joy and romance and happiness and children. Venus rules your 4th house of home and home life and family. Venus is going through a rebirth in this new moon in your 5th house of children, of luck. Venus also rules your 9th house of higher education, higher learning, and travel. For some of you, what's going on is a new connection to your inner child, leaving behind the past, leaving behind trauma, leaving behind certain things, and gaining new experience. For some of you, it's not your experience. It is literally going to be the experience of your children. By allowing for this new connection and this new routine, by allowing for them to venture into something that they have never done before, it will create a whole different energy with you and you to be able to connect to something or someone differently. And that's a good thing. You can gain experience. You can also have things from your childhood that are starting to get triggered in this new moon that is going to lead to a whole different level of healing and purging and finding out some things that have been going on behind your back. That seems rather specific, doesn't it? Why do I say that? Because this new moon is going to trigger a 6-week energy. This is what came through the most in my, this is the common number that kept coming through in regards to my meditation. This new moon triggers something over the course of the next 6 weeks of something that we no longer feel like we can support. We no longer feel like we can care for. We no longer feel like we can handle, that we will be a part of. It's not going to be our responsibility anymore. But part of that for you guys is because Saturn, who is one of your chart rulers, rules your 12th house of the unknown, the unseen, and endings. For some of you, whatever is being triggered is supposed to be happy and healthy. And it's hopeful because it's your fifth house new moon. But it is going to lead to things that you did not know about. It's going to lead to new levels of discovery. That new level of discovery can lead to healing in a lot of ways, but it can also lead to you having to face things from the past. And that is not something that everybody can be prepared for if you don't know it's coming. Now, in the moment, can this be a fun, bright energy? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because it's in your fifth house. But the squares from Saturn happening so quickly, and Saturn being one of your chart rulers, Uranus, your other chart ruler, is in Venus's sign, and we're going through the square. The first square will be Saturn and Venus. This tells me something is going to play a long game of where we need to get over the past, get over the frustrations, and understand the things that we could not have understood before. We didn't have the capacity to handle the truth, to handle the reality, to handle the overwhelm. 10 of Wands, Moon card, Strength card, King of Swords. That King of Swords is you. That's your energy. That's your dominance. That's your understanding of something. We have some type of overwhelm that we need to break away from. We have some type of burden that we need to be over with. And following this energy, there will be burdens that are no longer ours to deal with. They're no longer going to be within our control. Whatever happens next has got to happen that way. And that means some things are going to happen behind your back. And I'm warning you of that now. But in other ways, it is going to allow for things to be triggered and healed. It's going to allow for a different understanding over the course of the next 6 weeks. The 2 Capricorn full moons is the key dominant thing of why I keep saying 6 weeks. That moon card is a reflection of light, a reflection of truth, a reflection of certain things, but not all things. Whatever is about to be triggered, you can't see it all, you can't understand it all. And a lot of what was going on before when past events happened, because some of you, you're having those childhood memories triggering. You were not prepared. You were not capable of handling them at that time. Now, the reason they're coming back around is because you are capable of understanding. You are capable of wrapping your head around something. You are going to be able to put something into a different perspective and be able to do a whole different kind of work within yourself, for yourself, and for other people. That work, that is not a 6-week thing. That I think is the 6-month thing. That is the thing that I think is a big part of the next long-term energy. That inner work, that outer work, that physical work, that mental work. We have a desire to be happy. That 5th house new moon conjunct Venus, that can be so happy. And it can bring so much love, and it can bring so much joy and so much potential if you allow it. But some of you, you're not ready to allow for potential. You have to go through the next round of healing that is going to follow it. That amount of work, that amount of understanding. And a lot of this has to do with the fact that you have Pluto in the first now. The thing that I keep going into with the 2 full moons that are going to happen in Capricorn that are being triggered from something in this new moon, that's what I keep getting, is that it's going to require us to go handle some unfinished business. For some of you, that unfinished business is going to literally be because physical events are going to trigger, are going to occur, and they're going to force you to deal with something. But for other people, it's all internal. And you don't know what day or what moon or what transit or what cycle or what random real life event is going to trigger for you to face that. But it's going to come up in the next 6 weeks. It's a necessary thing. Can you be happy? Can you enjoy this moment? Absolutely. Can you do something new with your kids, or, do something new in regards to going out and experiencing life in a new way and having a great time? Absolutely. But in the long run, what will follow will lead to bigger decisions, will lead to bigger energies, will lead to something that needs to be revamped, revised, and rehandled for the last time. That's not 6-week energy. That's 6-month energy, just to be clear. Okay. Okay. Moving this along for Pisces and Pisces risings, my loves. A 4th house new moon with your chart ruler present. Home life, family, roots, ancestry, where you're going next within your family, how you are unfolding things within your family, where you are doing things differently within the family. Your focus is about to be your family. It is becoming your family in a whole different way. For some of you, you're going to have to get some final things in order in regards to your finances, and that is because we're wrapping up Mars in your 2nd house of money. For others, you are becoming far more aware of where you want your home life to be, how you want your home life to be, where things are going to be for you in regards to your home life moving forward, because there is so much that it feels like we were waiting forever for it to come up, for it to happen, for it to make sense. And now that it has made sense, now that it has come together, now that something has adjusted and changed, it's going to allow for a whole different entity of energy to come to light. Now, this is going to very much do a big change for people over the course of the next 6 weeks. But for you guys, I don't know that the 6-week mark is going to feel nearly as important for you as it does for other people. Now, what can happen over the course of the next 6 weeks is going to be an adjustment in certain responsibilities of who you're willing to handle things for, who you're going to be caring for, and who you're not. For some of you, you've already been responsible for some certain things and you've been fighting. I don't want to be responsible for this. I'm only doing my stuff. I'm only going to take care of my things. And all of a sudden, over the next 6 weeks, you will change that responsibility. You will take on other things. You will take on the things that you did not want to take on. You will stop fighting the inevitable, because it's not doing it any good to keep saying, I don't want to do it. I don't want to be a part of this. And I don't want to help. You need to be prepared. Now, Venus rules your 3rd house of communications and short distance travel. It also rules your 8th house of taxes and debt and inheritance. And so many of you are starting to see an adjustment again in your finances. And that will too be a big part of the energy that will adjust over the course of the next 6 weeks. Where we are having issues with finances and things along these lines, those will adjust. We will be able to leave certain things behind after so much has been triggered. We have this Death card, we have the Hermit card. These two basically came out together. Once certain things come to light, once certain things are understood, once this whole new focus on whoever it is within your family, within your home life starts to take shape, wherever you are starting to understand this new place of your own home life, and as it is starting to take shape, it is going to again allow for all of those past frustrations that we used to feel stuck in a mental prison, these areas of responsibility where we have not wanted to have that responsibility anymore. It is going to make that adjust. It's going to make that change. Certain elements of that are going to change over the next 6 weeks. Ace of coin, Three of Wands. If you have not wanted responsibility of certain things over the course of the last year or so, and then you're going to get to the energy of this next 6 weeks, and all of a sudden you have to quit fighting it, you have to be responsible for it, guess what? That's because Saturn is turning retrograde in your first house. And where you have been full steam ahead, I don't want anything to do with this, something will change and a different understanding will come through. Saturn turns retrograde at the end of June. I think it's either the 26th or the 29th. I'm doing that part by memory. I apologize. Where things are starting to progress and come to light, where you have been resistant to certain things, where you have not wanted to have charge of certain things, that will adjust over the next 6 weeks. Ace of Coin, Three of Wands. After you stop fighting the inevitable and you allow for things to unfold and happen, what you will start to see is a whole different understanding. Eight of Wands, the World, and the Hierophant. These are the last three cards. A whole different understanding, a whole different connection, a whole different set of desires will start to come through you as to how you connect with certain people, how you rely on certain people. Some of you have been fighting the idea of responsibility, and you're going to have no choice but to take responsibility for something moving forward. For others, you are pushing that responsibility onto another over the next 6 weeks. I can't take care of this. You're going to have to go move into the nursing home. You're going to have to go back to school. You're going to have to go back to work. You're going to have to do this other thing differently because I can't keep handling this the way that I have been handling it. I can't keep doing this the way that I have been doing it. And it's going to take you back to old situations and old things. The next 6 weeks, I feel like for you guys are going to be more tied to the aftermath of certain decisions tied to other people. I know this has nothing to do with your seventh house. This is intuition taking over. But with that energy of knowing the fact that in these next 6 weeks following this new moon, both Saturn and Neptune in your first house is going to turn retrograde. I can see that where we have had certain ideas or opportunities or desires in one way, that once we've expressed our opinion and once we've expressed certain things, we will start to feel that reclusiveness follow. We will feel like we don't want the same things, or we're going to feel like where we were so hyper vigilant, I'm not going to be in charge, I'm not doing this, no. The resistance of that will fall away, and that will be the turn. After this new moon, which the new moon can just be a whole new chapter for you with family, something new going on around matrons or mothers, something new going on in your home life in the moment, but energetically the pattern of the next 6 weeks is going to be an adjustment in responsibility. And Saturn is in your first house. If you have been resisting responsibility of another person, of another situation, you will not be able to resist much longer. If you have been trying to be supportive of somebody in a certain way, and then we get through these next 6 weeks, suddenly the way that you have been supportive of that other person will not be the same. It will adjust. And whatever is going on this week, take note, journal it, take pictures, whatever you got to do, whatever meditation you have coming through, because whatever is going on this week is going to directly impact that middle weeks of August, the 13th through the 15th, and the start of that Mars retrograde, which is in your 6th house of health. So if you are dealing with something tied to family, then it can be a family member's health that are going to play out later this year. And that would be December 5th through 8th. Be aware of what is happening this week. Even if in this moment it's not very big, that does not mean over the course of time that it will be, because it likely will. It'll likely be something very, very big. Be aware of what is starting to become known and spoken about in the energy this week. because it speaks volumes to what will be going on later. Okay. This is coming out later than I initially anticipated, so I apologize about that, but I love and appreciate every single one of you. I'm not going to go real heavy on the outro. I'll talk to everybody very, very soon. Yeah, subscribe.